Welcome back to Elevator Inspiration. We're going to be studying this whole series on love. And actually the first four lessons is struggles with love. Our subject today is bias love. Let's look at our lesson content. Basically, we're going to be in the Old Testament and talking about the patriarch Jacob. Actually, we have Jacob having a dispute with his brother Esau. You remember how there was battling between the birthrights. Actually, Jacob stole Esau's birthrights. He flees to Haran, and there he married sisters, Leah and Rachel. And with the two handmaids, those four women, they actually bore 12 sons and one daughter to Jacob. And here's a diagram that I want you to look at. So we actually have Jacob, who is actually the grandson of Abraham. And if you notice here, we have Rebekah and Isaac, actually have two boys, Esau and Jacob. And Jacob flees after that, stealing his brother's birthright. He actually flees to Haran, relatives of Rebekah. And there he meets Rachel, who he falls in love with. However, when he marries Rachel, realizing it wasn't Rachel because the oldest daughter was Leah, he ended up having Leah. He had to work 7 more years to get Rachel. And we have two handmaids, Zilpah and Bilhah are the two handmaids. Bilhah is the handmaid of Rachel. And between these four women, we have actually these individuals being born. Actually, Leah, we notice there is actually 6 boys and one daughter, Dinah. The oldest one is Reuben. And the two handmaids, they have 2 kids each, Gad and Asher, Dan and Naphtali. And Rachel, which is interesting, who he really loved, he has Joseph. He actually have Joseph in his old age. He's actually about 90 years old when he have Joseph. And then these are all the kids that was born in Haran. He leaves Haran and he has Benjamin by Rachel. Benjamin is the youngest child, and what's so unique is that when he have Benjamin, actually Rachel dies giving birth. We have 2 other sons here I want you to know is Ephraim and Manasseh. These is actually 2 sons of Joseph, and out of these 12 boys here is actually the 12 tribes. I like this picture here. The 12 tribes of Israel. I like this picture here because it kind of gives you an idea of the family tree. All right, so our story starts in Genesis, the 37th chapter. And notice now, you remember the 2 ladies, the handmaid. We have sons of Bilhah and sons of Naphtali. And actually, this is kind of, if you notice the friction that we have here. And so we have Jacob is about 16 years old, and he goes with they're attending the flock. And you notice at the end, Joseph comes back and gives his father a report. Now, this could be a report that the brother was messing with him, or it could be a report that the brothers did something that wasn't right. But Joseph is a telltale. And if you notice here, verse 3 shows us the favoritism that Joseph had. And even it states here that because he had him in his old age, and this so distinguished is that his father, Jacob, makes him a coat. And it says a coat of many colors. Verse 4, it tells us that the brethren saw that their father loved him more than all of them. We're talking about actually 10 boys here. So they hated him, and they could not speak peaceable unto him. So there we see the fury being built up. So this is our question that we want to discuss on Sunday. Without giving direct advice, how will you counsel someone who is in the less loved position as Joseph brothers? So that give you something to think about this week, and be ready to discuss this on Sunday night. Okay, so we continue on. And then in verse 5 through 8, we are in the field, and hear what Joseph does. He dreams a dream. And they even hate him more when he dreams his dream. Verse 6 says, I pray you, this is a dream which I had. And Joseph is more like bragging about his dream. He talks about binding sheaves in the field, and my sheaf rose up, and they stood straight, and your sheaf had the bow of obedience down to my shafts. So he's talking about their animals and his animals, and how they were superior than his brethren. And if you notice there, at the end of verse 8, it says, they hate him yet the more for his dreams. Now, does Joseph stop dreaming? We look at verse 9 through 11. He says, and he dreamed yet another dream. This time, the dream more. He talked about the sun and the 11 stars. They actually bowed down and made obedience to him. And he told that to his father. And his father at this time does something that's unusual. And notice that his father rebuked him in verse 10. It says, what is this that thy dream? I like what his father says. Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed shall bow down ourselves to thee on earth? And notice the verse 11 that his brothers envied him. So not only did they have fury and they grew angry and their hatred, now we have developed the envy of Joseph. And then verses 23 we kind of skip about. We see shaming of Joseph. It came to pass that when Joseph came, and he's wearing his coat and that of many colors. And what his brothers do? They took him, they cast him into a pit that was empty, and no water was in it. And they did this, if you read between the scriptures, they actually did this to punish him. Reuben, the oldest one, was going to actually come and get him out of the pit. But what happened? Verse 28, it says, then there passed the Midianites, merchantmen, and they lifted up Joseph out of the pit. And what did they do? They sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt. Now that's amazing. So now we're seeing Joseph being sold into Egypt, and this is where our story ends today. We see the brothers disdain so much at Joseph that they take him, they sell him, they go back, tell his father that some animals killed him, take his coat, put some blood on it, and now we have a weeping father. Now, so I like this family because what we see in the Old Testament is we see a blended family. And the tragedy episodes impress us that favoritism can do and has done in families, and it's been going on since the Old Testament, that we have favoritism in our family. But yet and still, despite the favoritism, God's sovereign plan and purpose move forward under his guiding hand. And then the next bullet is, God is never thwarted by the evil intentions of human beings. God remains the unseen mover in our lives, just as in Joseph's life. You know, it's amazing that we see this. And actually, you start doing the numbers. Joseph is 16 years old. He's sold into slavery. This fulfilling this dream, even though we're going to talk about it later, does not fulfill till he's at the age of 30. Can you imagine that? You know, here you are, the favorite of your father, and then you are sold by your brothers into slavery because they envied you and hated you because you had dreams. So our thought to remember is God's love favors all his children. Let me say that one more time. God's love favors all his children. Hey, thanks for being with me. I see you in Sunday school. If you notice at the bottom is our question, and we're going to actually show up in a Zoom session at 6 p.m. on Sunday and to answer that question. Hey, enjoyed it. You all take it easy. Thank you.